So you're wondering how to get more sales. I brought in a trainer today, Tiffany Peterson at Live on Purpose TV. What does a psychologist know about how to get more sales? Actually, quite a bit, because you know what? Sales is more about psychology than people realize. But Tiffany Peterson is an expert at how to get more sales, meaning a student who's still learning the process.
Absolutely.
But you've got a whole lot of experience with this, and you do a lot of speaking and training in this area. So I want to defer to you as the expert and acknowledge that this has a whole lot to do with psychology and understanding people.
Yeah.
Which is why you got invited to be here for this episode.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, what can you tell us about how to get more sales?
So, simply put, right, you already touched on this, but life is sales. Sales are simply relationships. And so when you think about selling, and no matter what any of you do in this life, no matter whether you are a school teacher or you are in technology or you are a psychologist, is that how much is relationship influential to your business, right? Like think about your private practice. Does it have anything to do with the relationships?
I wonder.
Yeah, everything.
Right.
Right? So all of us are in the relationship business, right? Whether you're, again, a realtor, a mortgage broker, you are a stay-at-home mom with a side business, whatever you're into, life has that influence, right? And so it's just simply becoming a little more comfortable and confident with growing your influence, growing your ability to help people take more action, right? Because when I think about what is an actual sale, a sale is an exchange of value. And so when you're saying, hey, an exchange of value for your time to come meet with you or to read your book, is there's an exchange of that value, usually monetarily, but there's ways we obviously trade that out. But sales and how to be better at sales then is if we're all in the relationship business, then I think it's looking at, there's two key things that I regularly teach to sum it up simply of what helps someone be better at sales. Number one is the awareness to this piece that I'm in the relationship business, and therefore you study what is it that help relationships thrive, right? Is how do I have better relationships? What are the core common needs? If you're in the relationship business, which you are, then you study human beings and you say, what is it that a human being needs? Because when you're making a sale, you're fulfilling a need. And the beginning of saying, I'm going to help increase my sales or increase my influence, whether it's with your children, right? I mean, getting your kids to go to bed on time is a sales process, right? Or eat their vegetables. Right? Getting someone to listen to you, to buy from you, sales process. Getting elected is a sales process. Dating and marriage is a sales process, right?
Absolutely.
So trust me, I know that. You know, it's just this awareness. So it's understanding, studying then, what is it that humans need? And humans have similar core needs. They have the need to feel seen, to feel valued, to feel respected. A critical need of all humans is to feel heard. Feeling heard, I like to say, is like oxygen to any relationship. Now, that doesn't mean you'll always agree, right? Maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a person you work with, maybe it's someone politically, or you go to church with, or that you're neighbors with, that you're going to have differences. That's part of human beings. But if you can create the intention and then work on the skill to hold safe space, isn't about we always agree, but you want to create more influence with any human or any group. It's that if humans with you feel heard, they feel safe, they feel valued. So when you study again, no matter what your business is or what your influence you want it to be, is are you cultivating that skill where you're nourishing your relationships? Where other people, I like to say, the question is, the $1 million question is how often do other people feel important, seen, valued, respected, heard in my presence? How often do other people feel important to me? Do they feel seen? Do they feel validated? And so it's becoming more intentional. I love to say this, and I have a lot of trainings in a lot of places called Nourish Your Network, right? Is how you show up in your relationships and that you nourish them. You take time to connect, and that might be over tea or lunch. You might send handwritten notes or thank you gifts. Listening and being present, though, that don't cost a thing is what humans crave the most. Is I just want to feel heard and seen, right? Because yes, are there certain clients that I send out high-level gifts to, my VIP clients for sure, or send handwritten notes in the mail, or to my affiliate partners, they get little gifts and things and so forth. Is I do love to do that. But what humans crave more, I believe, than anything else are those basics we've just listed. So it's becoming more intentional to say, am I nourishing my relationships? Am I creating greater connection? In my full sales training, there's a statement that I make there, a formula that says connection equals clients equals cash. And so when you think about, I want more clients or more revenue, if that was indeed your goal, then you focus on, I want to have richer connection. But even if you're not saying I want an outcome of a sales boost or a rank advancement or an increase of my business, you're likely as a human saying, I would like richer, deeper connections, right?
Yes.
And to show up intentionally to say, I want to add value to every space I enter. That's one of my own personal mantras, is I add value wherever I go, whether I'm paid or not. I've been thinking that thought for 7 years now. And then I turned it into a little document called the Creator's Oath. It's on my website, but it says that line is, I add value wherever I go, whether I'm paid or not. And to everyone say, I'm going to be a VC. Now that doesn't necessarily mean a venture capitalist. It could, but all of us can choose into being what I call a value creator.
Value creator.
Right? And I know that can sound kind of cheesy and cutesy, but truly, in all sincerity, Tony Robbins made this point once, many years back. I read this in one of his trainings, that dollars follow value. And so when you're saying, in this life, I want more relationship, or I want more influence, or I want more income, how do I add more value?
This is huge.
Yeah.
And in fact, okay, so we started with this premise, how do I get more sales, right? That's the question. That's the title of the video.
Right.
You're saying, wait a minute, there's something more fundamental. There is something that drives that. There's something that's behind all of the sales. And when we can shift our focus from, really, honestly, when we usually say we want more sales, what are we really looking for?
More money.
More money.
Yeah.
Right. You're coming from a place of scarcity and fear. I need more money or I won't be able to pay the rent or whatever. And there's different reasons why people focus on the money. That's why I want more sales. So you're saying, wait a minute, what's behind the sales?
And I'm just saying that mostly when we're saying, I want to help someone buy more from me, make a sale, make more sales, is you're saying, I want to influence them. But that, again, if this skill transfers to your children, you want to influence your children, you want to influence your spouse, you want to influence politics, you want to influence environment. Whatever it may be is thinking about, how do I increase my ability to influence? And your influence does create your income, right? And I'm not saying influence meaning popularity. I am saying it could be that, but I'm saying your influence is my ability to influence you, Paul, has everything to do with how I show up with you in this friendship, right?
That's right.
And do you feel seen by me, heard, valued, respected?
Exactly.
Do I show up and do I ask you questions occasionally and say, hey, tell me about your life, right? Is it a mutually that type of thing? Is that I wouldn't be here right now if I hadn't at some level along the path with over the last few years created a connection with you where you felt safe and you felt heard and you felt valued, or I just simply wouldn't be in the seat. And so it's understanding
and vice versa, because because of that connection, you're willing to show up here with me instead of just like, well, who's Paul? I don't want to.
Right, because I value our friendship. You're not paying me to be here. And say, hey, would you take the time out of your time to come and be with me and make this? Absolutely, because Paul shows up. Absolutely, because he shows up and adds value to me and to everyone else.
Right. So
it's just understanding at the fundamental level, and this will also, I believe, help many of you that have a fear of sales or a fear of selling come back to the roots. Is it's really just about service, adding more value. I want to share one more thought on this, and then we'll tuck in the second one if that's okay. Okay. A couple years back, I saw this video of Oprah Winfrey, who I just love her. She's one of my sheroes, right? And she was sharing, she was being interviewed. She's often the interviewer, and she was being interviewed about her path and her success. And she went on to share and talk about, she was saying, how did you create this path, right? She said, you know, if you don't know her story, she in the 70s was a news reporter in Baltimore, reporting the nightly news. She said, I didn't see my own show, let alone her own magazine, now her own network. You know, it's just like her influence. Exactly. And how much service she's given and value. But she said, she didn't have a vision board, right? Which I have one of those. Or my ideal life vision, which I love. Shout out to Ann Webb.
Ann Webb.
Right? We love her. But I think about this from the perspective, as she was being asked in this interview, she said, every day I got up and I would pray the same prayer. And that prayer was, use me, God. Use me. I don't know about you, but that just strikes such a chord, is the intention that what she's saying, and whether you call it prayer, you call it intention, you say God, you say universe, is she was saying that every day I was showing up intentionally to add value and to be of service to other people.
That's
and
what
when
the
you
focus
cultivate a mindset like that, because none of us are perfect at it, but if we're committed, not perfection, but commitment to saying, I'm going to be committed to that kind of a mindset. And that I'm going to use my time and my abilities to influence for positive, is that that's why I like to say I show up and I add value wherever I go, whether I'm paid or not. Is I get paid regularly. Sometimes directly from the person that's I'm offering value to, but many times of roundabout way of just, I mean, there's a karmic bank account that what you're depositing comes back.
There really is.
There truly is to that piece. So we could be here. This is like a 3-day workshop. We're going to try to put in a few minutes, but that's number one. To be great in sales, 2 things. Number one is you become a conscious cultivator of relationship, and you show up to relationship to add value, to see people, to hear them, to acknowledge them, to affirm them, to help them just feel loved. Every one person is walking around. Mary Kay Ash of Mary Kay Cosmetics would say, everyone's walking around with a sign that says, basically love on me, validate me, help me feel seen and valued and important. Every human you know has that need.
That's what they value. That's what they want. Right. That's what they will exchange value for.
Right.
So instead of how do I get more sales, which is very selfish and scarcity minded,
fear-based.
How do I create more value?
Yes.
How do I touch more lives and have deeper, richer connections?
You get it, my friend.
I love it.
I mean, you live it, so it's why
I love it.
But it's just understanding what's at play there is to say, okay, who can I bless today? Who can I add value to today? Knowing that all humans, because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. That's sales 101.
Right.
People that, that is not new. You didn't just hear that from me for the very first time. You've heard that at some point in your life.
If you did, write it down.
Right. If you didn't ever hear that, people do business with those they know, like, and trust, right?
There you go.
And that's basic, fundamental of a sale, is you're in the relationship business, and it has everything to do with how connected you feel. And so knowing that, it isn't always about, do you have the cheapest prices? It's about what's the value exchange, and is there a relationship there? That's number one. Number two, to become fantastic in sales, to increase your conversion, to increase your referral rate and so forth, is you become heavily anchored in asking more questions, that you become question-based in your sales process. That what you would do, just like if someone comes and meets with Dr. Paul and they have a private session with him, he's doing diagnostic work, right? And I love to think that in any relationship or any sales capacity is diagnose then prescribe. That's a term I learned from Stephen Covey many, many years ago. Diagnose then prescribe is showing up to say, hey, what are your needs? Where are your health goals at? Where are you stuck? Where are you at with your business? What do you love about your home? Or what's up for you with your clutter? No matter whatever you do, whether you're product-based or service-based, to become more question-oriented. So many years ago, I had the opportunity to work for Franklin Covey and specifically represent the classic work, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? Well, habit number 5 in that work is titled, Seek First to Understand Before You're Understood, right? Because see, again, the amateur person sells at you. They just come at you with products and services and offers.
Here's what I have to offer.
Buy for me, right?
You want this.
Yes. Versus the professional says, teach me about you. Who are you? What do you need? What are your goals? What are your dreams? Where are your fears? Where are you stuck? How long has it been an issue? What's up for you in your health? What's up for you in your business? And so forth. And so it's really transitioning that thought process into any area of your life, whether it's with your spouse, right? Say you've been married for 30 years. Is still saying and showing up with that spouse saying, how are you, love? And what's up for you? And what are you the most excited about in your life? What are you the most stressed about? What are you learning? How can I best support you? But you come to relationship with questions, right? Same thing with parenting. Same thing with influencing your business and your sales, is that we want to lead more so with questions, because again, one of the dominant needs that all humans have that we've already touched on is the need to feel heard.
To be heard.
And so the more that you're saying, teach me about you, I'm gaining influence and trust with you. Because then if I understand you and take the time to know what your needs are, and then I say, hey, thank you for sharing all of that. Based on what you've shared, I have 2 options of ways I can support people.
Then you know what to offer.
Yes. To even know if the offer is relevant, right?
Right.
And then from there to say, here's some things that might support you in getting your needs met. But that's really what sales is you're helping people get their needs met.
That's the only reason they buy anything.
Right? I mean, that's the basic necessity. People buy out of pain or pleasure. People are always purchasing or driving that behavior of taking action emotionally, and then they decide logically, but it's because it's fulfilling some need.
Some need,
right?
exactly.
And so it's leading with questions and being more question-based. I love to say, ask more and talk less, right? In all your relationships, is that you want to learn more and create that safe space. Bringing psychology back into that, right? Is that you might say, hey, I am just pulling this out from them and I'm wanting them to learn, to hear from themselves what it is that's up for them.
Right.
I think the most powerful voice you hear is your own.
That's the most believable voice in your head.
Most believable voice. So if it comes from their mouth, it's gospel. If it comes from my mouth and I just say, hey, you should buy, you should change,
It's a
you should
sales
do,
pitch.
right? It's a sales pitch versus I'm going to serve you, teach me about you. And you ask more questions. Those are my top two things, as well as I just think the core essentials to thriving in sales is one, we're all in the people business, and it's understanding that as humans we have these needs, and that you consciously and intentionally you nourish your relationships, right? You choose to show up in relationship to add more value, to seek to be of service to other people, that you show up with that intention. It's powerful. Then you add the skill set of asking better questions, whether in your mentoring calls, in your presentations, in your parenting, in any relationship, is that you lead with questions and you let that be what helps you connect, right? Is key to growing your business or growing your influence in any area.
So there's a 2-day sales training in about 15 minutes.
Yes, there you go. 2 days of sales training.
Awesome. I think you're going to find that helpful. I know I do.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I don't know if that's what you expected. It's really about connecting with people. And you have a chance to do that right now as you share this episode. I'll see you tomorrow.